Much love, respect, and appreciation to anybody who may have saw this during the live stream that I did earlier today. Well, as of 5/6/2024 on Monday, right? So the main thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that you have a lot of people out there that are mad about Beyonce doing country music and having a huge problem and an issue directly with that, right? But then you have this person, right, named Zachary Lane Bryant, right, and it states that he is an American country music singer slash songwriter from Aluga, Oklahoma, right, and he decided to bring Sexy Red directly out there on stage. Now, isn't that a little bit interesting? So you got white people got a problem with Beyonce and country. They'll say like, this ain't hip hop, this ain't Wakanda, all this other type of stuff, right?
Funky brothers of music. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, Run DMC, etc. But I mean, like, country music's different. Country music's different. It's not Wakanda.
They'll have all of these issues. I think there was a quote unquote an artist, country artist that did not want to co-sign, Beyonce, and he stated that, Rock Nation, whoever tried to, come through and offer and throw all of this money directly at him so that they can do a collaboration, with Beyonce and give their signature and yada, yada, yada. And he turned it down because he's just an upstanding country guy. He's going to make sure that country stays the way that country has always been. But then they turn around to do stuff like this. Now, remember, Beyonce was not good enough to, get a co-sign or all of these other things, right? But yet Sexy Red is good enough to be brought directly on stage to do this minstrel show. Because that's what this is. She's in a sea full of snow. A sea full of the kings and the queens of the upper north. And she's up here twerking. She don't got nothing else to offer but to twerk. Right? And some people might think that, oh, Seiji, but why is this a problem? Why do you have to sit up and point this out? Shouldn't you as a man be, really focused in on and pointing out, other types of things? You know what? No problem. Fair is fair. You are completely true, even though I do that on an everyday basis, but this is why this is a problem. This is Miss Bartman, right? She was known as a Khokoi woman who was exhibited as a freak show attraction in the early 19th century Europe under the name Hottentot Venus, a name which was later attributed to at least one of the women similarly exhibited. The women were exhibited for their body type uncommon in Western Europe, which was not only perceived as a curiosity at the time, but became subject of scientific interest as well as a erotic projection. Quote-unquote Venus is sometimes used to designate representation of the female body in arts and culture of anthropology, referring to the Roman goddess of love and fertility. Hottentot was a Dutch colonial term for the indigenous Khoi people of southwestern Africa, which then became commonly used in English, but which is now usually considered an offensive term, although it is still unclear how much she was a willing participant. The Sarah Bartman story is often portrayed as the epitome of racist colonial exploitation and of the commodification, the dehumanization of Black people. So now, looking at that information, and if you decided to go do your own research, that is very good directly on you. And now you look back at this stage where you have this representation of a Black woman, and the only thing that she has to offer on that stage in front of all of these circus goers, right, is her butt. She's tossing it, she's turning it, she's spreading everything. This is the same thing that Sarah Bartman had to sit up there and do in that circus. She had to let and allow people to objectify her because she was their property, because this is what she was supposed to sit up there and do. So now we moved away from the whole thing of Black women being ensnared and captured and made to be put on display to Black women willingly doing it. So I guess, the positive part is that Black women are making more than Sarah Bartman. I guess, the positive is that Black women have quote unquote control and power directly over their image and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, at what cost? What is this really doing in order to move Black women forward? What is this really showcasing to the world about how Black women actually are? What is it actually giving to the world as well? Nothing. Every woman on the face of this planet, they're able to do this. Some people will sit up there and say online, they'll be like, well, I see women of other communities and nationalities doing the exact same thing black women are doing, but it only seems that black women are the ones that, have to sit up there and take the brunt and get the worst type of comments known to men. Why can't black women just do the things that they want to sit up there and do? Because there's history behind this. I can't tell you about the culture or the history of any other woman directly out here, but I can sit up there and tell you about the culture and the history of black women and what it is that they had to suffer and actually go through. Sarah Baartman was paraded. She was quote unquote a circus freak because of how it is that her body was. She was made to be put on display, both in life and in death, because after she passed, they put her body into a museum. Because it was so exotic. It was such an oddity. It was something that they just have not ever seen ever before in their life. So now you can clear cut see why everything always goes back to the past, right? So you see the wireframe dresses from, let's say, like the 1900s, 1800s, or whatever it was, right? So this is what the rich wear, the queens and all this other type of stuff, right? And then look at Sarah Baartman's body type directly to the left, and then look at the images or the designs of the wire dresses. So tell me who it is that they were trying to be. Who it is that these women were trying to emulate. We all know that these women did not naturally. European women do not have a shape like Sarah Baartman. That just was not the thing. This is why she was paraded. This is why she was objectified. This is why she was hypersexualized. This is why she was deemed and made to be property. This is why she was showcased in a circus, labeled as a freak show. This is why. But even behind all of that laughing and that mocking, you had their own women, European women, that were jealous. They wanted to emulate that body type. They wanted that type of body type. When they went out there in public, they wanted people to and ooh and all these. Like I said before, if they just had the dresses just to fit their body type, it would just look like normal dresses. Nobody would really notice. Nobody would, stop and stare. None of that. But the moment in time that they tried to accentuate their figure and their body and all of these things, now the dress is a lot more. Now they got all these eyes. Now people have to, in a sense, move, and now people have to sit up there and look. Now people have to sit up there and admire. Like I said before, it's a shame when you have a lot of black women that don't realistically know the history, know how it is that you have others out here that are directly envious of their body type, and they will try to copy that and have that same type of attention. You can even look at this time period right now where you have people literally going out there and getting surgery for the body types that a lot of black women actually have. But it's also funny because at the same time, you have a lot of black women going out there and getting their body types to look like, let's say, European women, like the Kardashians and the Iggy Azaleas and all this other type of stuff. It's crazy. Like I said, a lot of things are backwards. And, like I said, I don't know. I feel like people need to do a little bit more looking and more depth research when it deals with the history and the things that have transpired when it deals with black women. On a final note, again, this is just information. People can take it how it is that they want to take it. If you want to take it as, this is just a black man coming at, black women in a negative light, don't want to be supportive and don't want to be this and don't want to do that, I got you. Let me help you out. This black man said, "I see power when I see Queen Sexy twerking in her authenticity. She isn't a Negro in the fields trying to appease the masses and her masters like the ones that have a problem. She's shaking it with pride for our ancestors and everyone that gets surgery to look like us." So again, this is a black man who decided that he wanted to step out there and give black women his love and his support and to showcase that he is all completely fine and dandy for you guys to go directly out there and create a caricature to, in a sense, insult the memory of Sarah Baartman and the many other black women who came before that had to go through all of the negative and the detrimental and the psychological warfare that took place when it dealt with them having to be paraded and treated like sideshow freaks that people paid pennies on the dollar in order to come see and touch on.